Hey, welcome back to DMI 15, number 8, masterclass number 8. What is pay-per-click advertising? Let's talk about pay-per-click advertising, right? So we're getting to this. Of course, as you know, as we're going through these classes, intensive, my goal is to really get you up to speed with some of this biggest department of digital marketing, right? Pay-per-click is going to be a big part of your business. Now, as of the last time I checked, pay-per-click accounts for about 15 to 20% of all online traffic. But it's also something that you're in absolute control of. Every other form of traffic, you can't really, you can control, but it's a function of time, process, and patience, right? With pay-per-click, you can basically set up campaigns and you can get the ball rolling. You can literally get people to your website on demand. So as the word says, pay per click, right? What is a click? A click is a click. When somebody clicks and it redirects to a web page that you want them to go to, that is a click. Some people call it a visit. Some people call it a view if we're talking about videos, right? You know, they can all be used interchangeably, but for the most part, let's just call it a click, a visit. Sometimes we can also use that interchangeably with a user. All right, so click, visit, right? User. A user may click multiple times, but typically in this topic, when we're saying click, you're paying every time somebody clicks on an ad. Okay? A piece of ad copy that you set up somewhere online, Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube, on Google, every time somebody clicks on it, you pay a little bit of money. Okay? So let's see examples of what we're talking about, shall we, before we get too deep into the rest of this masterclass, right? Let me open an incognito video, right? So let's say, for example, you Google hotel near me, right? You're looking to travel and you're looking for, you're just looking for hotels in a particular city. So let's say you're looking to travel to a space, you're looking to travel to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right? So you go on Google. Let's just go directly to Google, right? So you can see it. Usually you just type it directly into the search bar or website address bar, right? So you go here and you say, hey, I am looking for hotels in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. See, I just clicked on one of the auto suggestions, right? The first thing I see is an ad. It says an ad next to it, right? It says hotels in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. More choices, low prices. All right. And you can see right there that it gives you some options based on what people will probably typically search for on that website. So Traffic Velocity is basically advertising. This is an ad, okay? And this is the prime. This is the original example of what a pay-per-click is. Okay. So now I'm looking for hotels in Milwaukee. Let's see if we can block out some of that noise. There you go. All right. So we're looking for a hotel in Milwaukee. Let me put some light in my face. All right. Good. Perfect. We're looking for a hotel in Milwaukee, and there's this ad here. Every time I click on this ad, Travelocity owes Google money. Okay, Google is the ad platform. This is the reason why they're in business. Okay, so how much are people spending, right? How much is Google PPC ad spend? Let's see if we can see some stats here. Okay. The average cost per click, right? in Google Ads is between $2 to $4 on the search network. The average cost per click on the display network is under $1. The most expensive keywords in Google Ads and Bing Ads cost $50 or more per click. This is very important information. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this right here. Okay, it's simple. Why are people spending this kind of money? That's really what I want you to think about. Why are people spending this kind of money on Google? It's because every time they spend this money, money comes into their business. Okay, it's really that simple. Now, there's going to be casualties. There are people that don't know what they're doing. They waste a bunch of money and then eventually quit because it's obviously not sustainable. Okay, very, very important concept to pay attention. So let's go back to our example, right? How much are businesses, I should say, are businesses spending on Google Ads, Google PPC per year or per month? Let's say per month, because all right, the average small to mid-sized business spends anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 per month on their Google paid search campaign. Okay, that's what people are spending. Okay, so let's go to Google Alphabet. That's the name of Google's parent company, right? Ad revenue. Okay, in ad revenue in 2021. Let's see overall how much people are spending they spent in 2021. That's the number right there. Okay. All right. So why are people spending this kind of money? 209.49 billion US dollars. Let's properly put that in context. Okay. Let's process that properly. That is not 209.49 million. That's billion. That's 1,000 millions inside of a billion. Okay, it's a lot of money. So should you learn this stuff? Yes, there are multiple reasons why you should learn this stuff. Okay, you should learn it because first of all, you can use it for your business. You can, if you have a viable business, if every time you spend $1 on your business and you're bringing in a significant amount of customers, you make $2. Then you should go on pay-per-click, any pay-per-click advertising, and bring more exposure, bring more eyeballs, right? Because the more money you spend, the more you're going to make. The less money you spend, the less you're going to make. And the goal is to be in a position where you're able to afford to spend even more money. The goal is not the other way around. You want to be in a position where you're able to spend money because your business is doing that good. How do you get your business to do even that good? By spending more money on advertising, especially when you know that what you're selling works. So there are multiple different other ways to see if what you're doing is work. We talk about content marketing. We talked about search engine optimization. You know, you can spend flat amount of money on that and get that ball rolling. But over here, it's about scaling. Okay. As you can see, people are spending money. All right. So pay-per-click advertising is advertising form where you pay every time somebody clicks on your website. Okay. And with that being said, you know, it's only natural that we need to know what the cost per click on any given campaign is. All right. CPC. Okay. You're going to see this number even much more. We probably touched on it a little bit when we were discussing performance metrics and digital marketing analytics, right? But even more so here, because every time somebody clicks, or if you set up a CPM, okay, if you set it up as CPM, well, we have CPC and then we have CPM, right? That means you're paying every time somebody clicks, or you're paying for every 1,000 impressions, right? That's cost per 1,000 impression. Okay, that's I know it's supposed to be CPTI, right? But it's actually called CPM. I think they also call it cost per mile, per mile, something called CPM. Let me see. I think they call it something else. CPM. What does it stand for? CPM in business. Let's see. No, that's not the right one. Let's look at this one. There you go, per 1,000 impressions. Okay. So CPM per 1,000 impressions, like 1,000 in numbers, I guess. But some people call it per mile, something like that. But this is the original. I'm teaching you the original right here. Okay. All right. So that's that right there. That's pay-per-click right there. So pay-per-click advertising is basically you setting up campaign in a way that you pay money every time somebody click on your advertising. And this time and age, they also group CPM under it, because CPM, you don't really have to click on it, but every time your ad is showing 1,000 times to people, has been seen 1,000 times, even if it's by the same, even if a certain sector of it has been seen multiple times. Every time it's shown 1,000 times, you pay a certain amount of money. But even at that, you can break down that number and see how many clicks come from there, and you can see how much you paid per impression. So for CPM, as you can see, no one is advertising on this keyword. Why? Let me share the first best practice with you. Cost per mile. Here you go, cost per mile, which is also called cost per 1,000, right? You see that cost per mile, so CPM. Anyway, you see that no one is advertising on this word, right? Now, Google is suggesting a 3-word phrase for me here. It says this search may be relevant to recent activity. Oh, this is based off of my recent activity. Yes. Let's click on that, right? As you can see, it's just giving me the definition of CPM, but still no one is advertising. Why is it that no one? Let me give you your first best practices when it comes to PPC. If it looks like somebody is doing research, there's a good chance that you don't want to be targeting that person at certain parts of the funnel. Let me show you what I mean by the sales funnel. Sales funnel, we've talked about this before, but we need to revisit it again, right? So if we look at this sales funnel, right, the traffic is coming in, and then they become leads, then it becomes a sales call, a follow-up, a conversion is made, a sale is made, right? That's one type of sales funnel, right? Before they started entering your funnel, they're in the research mode, right? So let's look at this one. We have awareness, right? Let me put this on the second page for you. All right, so if you look at this this image right here, the awareness area is where people become aware of who you are. But before your funnel starts, people are searching online. They're searching for certain terminologies and stuff like that. So if they're still searching for CPM, they're looking for the definition of something, that doesn't sound like a buyer. Okay, now you can still advertise here, and they may say, oh, interesting, but they're not searching for something to buy. But let's see what happens when I put iPhone 13 in here, right? Let's see what happens when I put iPhone 13, when I put the name of a specific product here. What happens suddenly? Oh, there's an ad, $0 now, $32 per month. T-Mobile is advertising heavily, pay-per-click. Why? Because if I'm searching iPhone 13, there's a much more higher chance that I'm ready to buy right now. So in the funnel, there's awareness, there's interest, there's decision, there's action, right? People could be in the search. Let me see if there's another funnel for search. Sales funnel search. Maybe there's another category that, okay, there you go. The intent. There you go. So this is a good one right here. Copy image address. All right. If you look at this diagram, the likelihood of conversion is lower, much lower. Shout out to Getstart.com, right? Much lower at the top because they're still going through, right? Informational intent. Now, for you in your digital marketing effort, you do want to be, this is the area of the content marketing. You're gathering interest, right? Interest does not mean somebody is ready to buy, right? Like decision, the action is all the way at the bottom right here. Okay, so just think about that for a second. Okay, so you have informational intent, commercial intent, closer to a purchase. See if your site is optimized for a searcher's detailed comparative research, right? Then we have transactional. Okay, potentially is a medium to high chance they will buy from here. Navigational intent, they're starting to browse through different products on your website. That's high. Okay, and then you have local intent. Okay, you see your searchers can find you both online and in person. Okay, so this is only particularly for local businesses that have a front store, but you get the gist, right? This is pay-per-click in demonstration, right? But we also have let me show you 1 second. Let's see. You also have similar things on Facebook. So if you go to Facebook ads library, okay, Facebook ads library, you can literally Google that. Okay, as a matter of fact, take that note. Facebook ads library, when you search that, you can click here. Okay, and you can literally look at what this is. Not, you see, Meta is the same thing as Facebook. You should know that by now, by the way. If you look here, United States, depending on what country you're in, that's fine. I'll leave it at United States. And over in the ad category, I'm just going to say all ads, right? And over here, you want to search for a company's name, or a guru or influencer's name that's selling something. You might want to do some research, or just to see what they're advertising up there, right? Just to see what are they up to. So I'm trying to think of something right now. So let's say T-Mobile, right? Since we're just using T-Mobile as example, right? Let's type in T-Mobile. T-Mobile does have an advertisers page. You can see that right there. I'm going to click into that. Let's see if T-Mobile is advertising on Facebook. You are damn skippy. They are advertising on Facebook. Okay. All right. So what do we see? We see all the different ads and what type of ads they have going on here. You can see they're advertising the watch, some kind of sync up kids watch, right? You can see all the different ads. So they're running even TikTok. This looks like TikTok ads, but mobile ads essentially, right? If I type this, okay. So these are huge companies, right? If you're working for a big company at enterprise level, they run certain types of ads based off of the fact that name is already known, right? T-Mobile is quite known as a brand, right? But if you're running an advertising platform for somebody that has less than 1,000 people coming to their website in any given month, there's a different type of ad that you have to run because their brand is probably not known. So their offer needs to be even that much stronger, right? But these are all different ads that T-Mobile is running right now as we speak. They're active right now as we speak. This is also considered. This will show on your feed on Facebook, on Instagram, right? You can see it says active, right? If I tap into, let's see, I'm trying to see for. Let's go to the top one. Okay, if I tap this, am I able to see that? No, it just takes me to Facebook page. Okay. So it just takes me to their Facebook page. All right. But if I click on this, okay, it takes me to their website, right? These are actual ads, right? With the learn more button underneath, right? But these are also considered pay-per-click because every time these ads are shown 1,000 times, they pay a certain amount of money, or every time somebody clicks on it, they pay a certain amount of money, depending on what the objective or the ad is set at, or what they decide to set it at, right? So that's that. I just wanted to show you what PPC is. That's what PPC is. Again, why is it important? There's 209.49 billion reasons why it is important for you to learn this and understand what this is. Even as a digital marketer, at least at a fundamental level, because you will, even if you're a copywriter, if you're a social media, you will have to deal with this at some point. Okay. All right. So that's what pay-per-click is. Let's talk about why. Why pay-per-click? Okay. The first reason is because you get to show the right ad to the right audience, okay, and potentially at the right time, okay, at the right time. There are ways to do at the right time as well, right? So, but that third leg of it right there is based off of how much data you've collected, okay? How much data have you collected in advertising over time? So that's the first reason. You're able to show the right ad to the right audience at the right time. That is very important for you to understand, okay? There's a target market. You're able to target a market. The market means the people, right? How do you know that's the right people? You can see their interests. Facebook and Google or any other ads platform, they collect that amount of data where you're able to target people's interest based off of their behavior. If they're liking or engaging certain type of content, rather, they show you. They show you. They've grouped this data into a place where you're able to say, I want this group of people and I want to show them this ad. Okay, so I can even go ahead and say, right ad, right message to the right audience at the right time via the right media, okay, or medium, right? This is the beauty of pay-per-click advertising. So it's not like you're not going to know everything up front either, okay? It's not that simple. You're not just going to know everything about a person, but you know more than enough to start running an ad, and you're literally able to say, based off of the interaction with the ad and the data and the actions people are taking on the ad, you're able to scale or you're able to kill. Okay, what do I mean by that? Let's go to number 2 reason: benefits. Okay, remember, you're able to collect data, right? Remember what we learned in performance metrics, right, in DMI 15.4, and what we learned in also digital marketing analytics, right? You collect data, you analyze data, but you're able to use that data to scale up even faster, to move your business even faster, because you can see what's working and what's not working. Okay, so there are multiple different ways and themes that you can set up your ads on pay-per-click around. It's multiple different ones, right? So, but it's about understanding the fundamentals of the structure of how it works in the first place, right? If you understand the structure of how pay-per-click works, which I'm going to show you in a second here. And by the way, you can go ahead and read the chapter, I think it's chapter 9. Yeah, is it chapter 9 or chapter 10? Let me see here. I'll tell you what chapter in a second. Let's see. Yeah, chapter 10. Make sure you read chapter 10, the structure of Digital Marketing Certified, the book. It will break this down even further for you in terms of the structure. I'm going to go through that here in a second, right? But it's data analysis and scalability is a lot more super easier if you have money to spend on pay-per-click. Remember, you will be spending money as you go on pay-per-click. Pay-per-click is the strategy where I lost $700 in 5 minutes when I first came online for the first time. When I first brought my business fully online in 2009, I lost $700 in 5 minutes because I didn't know what I was doing. Okay, so you're able to pick your target audience. Okay, you're able to pick a target audience. Okay, let me say here 3. Okay, which is a subset of the first benefit, right? Which is right ad, right message, right audience, right, pick a target audience. Pick a target audience, and you're able to over time assess the response and be able to pivot accordingly. Okay, that's something, and you're able to do it much faster. Okay, here's the problem with other methods, right? Other methods have their own benefits, right? Which is you don't have to overspend. You're not necessarily going to overspend or break the bank, right? But here you might lose your shirt if you don't know what you're doing, right? Because you get response that fast. Remember, you can literally go on Google and set up an ad, right? Every time I click on this, if I click on this like I just clicked, it takes me into the Travelocity website, and I'm able to book a site. If they're not able to convert me to sales, make me to a customer, they're going to lose they're going to lose the bank. They're going to lose their marketing dollars, every single dollar, right? Before they realize it's not sustainable. But that's why we talked about intent earlier. What is the intent? What, on an average, what's the intent of a person? What are the intentions of a person who is searching hotels in Milwaukee? There's a good chance they're going to buy. There's a good chance. So if you're going to advertise on pay-per-click, make sure that you're attracting buyers only. Buyers only. If you're not attracting buyers only, there's a potential that you're going to lose a lot of money. So there are multiple ways to attract buyers only. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. If I go back to let me see here. Let's just make sure we stay on the lane. We're talking about picking the right audience. Yes. So buyers only is an example of what I mean by, of the right audience. If I say, if you set up an ad to target people that are searching for this keyword phrase, that is called search. That's called a paid search. Okay. Let me put that down so you can, because again, you have one work around this, right? Paid search. Remember, we talked about organic search earlier, right? We talked about organic search, which is organic search is search engine optimization. But now we're talking about paid search. So when somebody let's see, when somebody search for this, right, they show their ad here. If I clicked on it, that is me. That is Travelocity generating a click from a paid search. When you scroll down a little bit below, you see a local listings in that area, because I put a location in it, so the machines, the search engine machines, recognize that I'm looking for something locally in a particular area. So it showed me a local listing as part of an organic result that should be generated. That back in the days, traditionally speaking, you will be opening a yellow book for this. So this is the brand new digital age yellow book. So in addition to the ad, you can pay money and get yourself to the top. This is pay to play, right? This is literally pay to play. Okay, let me put that here so you can. We're talking about pay to play here. Okay, pay to play. All right, that's what this is all about, right? Come on. All right, let's see. All right, let me see here. Stop playing with me. All right, let's go back here. All right, so you get the gist, right? So we're here. What's going on here? Okay. All right, anyway, so it's paid search, right? Paid search. Let me open this. I gotta go here. All right, so paid search is what you see here. Right below paid search, you have local listings, because that's natural to the human brain, and the Google platform recognizes that people are looking for, so they show this. But then below that, you have organic results. Okay, the regular search engine page results, search engine results page rather. So the search engines page results has the ad, it has local listing if the machine detects that you're looking for something locally somewhere. And then it has the organic results, right? You can see in the organic results, you see similar results, right? So these people being here, they didn't have to pay per click to be here. This is work overtime. They still have to pay time, pay people that are working in their organic search department, right? But particularly the efforts that goes into, sorry for the sound, by the way, I'm in a hotel room. They didn't have to pay directly to Google. They just had to make sure that the content on this page is relevant. And they have the hotels.com obviously has a website authority. Okay, sorry about the sound, by the way. All right, so and then then TripAdvisor is also another popular platform where people can book, where they can book airlines. If they can book a flight, they can book hotel, they can book a rental car. Those three things, right? Expedia is what I personally use for the most part. Booking.com. These are all here as organic results, right? They didn't have to pay to be here. But at the very bottom, they also have another ad, right? Cheap hotels in Milwaukee, right? So that's it right there. And then also on the iPhone search, you can see that there's ad, but somebody searching for iPhone 13 is not necessarily looking for a local listing, not necessarily, right? So also you can see stories, because there's also news stories. So if there's always news stories, if it's a product that's always in the news, probably because of the stock market, because of the company made some adjustments, it's a big deal. And you will also see some listings like that. And then images, right? And then you can see more organic results. Anything below the ad is all considered organic results, right? For example, I search iPhone 13. Naturally, because of the authority of the website apple.com, it shows as an organic result right below the ads. But T-Mobile has managed to place an ad up here, okay, for iPhone 13. And there's a good chance they're showing me T-Mobile listings because I searched T-Mobile earlier, I think so. I don't remember. All right. Does this make sense so far? This is pay-per-click. So what are the what do you need to know about pay-per-click? How do you set up pay-per-click? Well, a couple of ways. My favorite is that I use for the most part. I do have my ads off right now. Is Facebook advertising. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dump into Facebook advertising, and then show you some structures and show you some ads that I've run. Okay, they're all off right now at this point in time, but I can show you how much money we've spent in this. But I have multiple accounts, but in this particular account, how do you get to this page? By the way, if you go to facebook.com and you have an account, right? I'm telling you right now, this is Facebook PPC now, right? I'm also going to show you Facebook, Google PPC as well. Okay, but what you want to do as part of your homework is to make sure that your accounts are ready to go, so that when we start to execute, you have an account ready to go. Okay. All right. So we're here on Facebook. This is typical Facebook page. Nothing special. Let's see here. Okay, let me switch this C profile, switch this over to this. All right, so this is what a typical Facebook page looks like. Rolling. All right, so this is what a typical Facebook page look like, right? You see a feed at the top, and there's a news feed and blah blah blah, right? I don't know, it's taking a while for it to load. My internet here is just bad. As you know, I travel a little bit. So I will continue to make sure that I have solid internet. This is not looking good. Anyway, it's having a hard time loading Facebook. But this is what a Facebook page looks like. Okay. And yeah, you see a feed with ads, you see all kind of stuff in the news feed, right? This is what you see, right? Okay, in the typical Facebook page, right? The people you follow, the people that you peep their content, they show you ad. You can see Grant Cardone ad right there. Okay, Grant Cardone is another person that we can take a look at some of his ads. Let's take a look at what he's advertising on ads library. So we could go back here. We searched T-Mobile earlier. We can type in Grant Cardone. Okay, he's a guru and an influencer. So let's use him as a guru influencer and see what he's been advertising, right? Okay, so these are Grant Cardone's ads. So if you want to set up an ad, look at the competitors in your same world and see if you can model what they're doing. Because if they're doing something over and over, there's a good chance they're making serious money in it. Okay, So you can see Grant Cardone is advertising here. What is he advertising? Do you want to start investing in real estate or even 10x your current portfolio? Here's what I did from $3,000 to $4 billion, right? In just a few minutes, I'll be doing a virtual workshop, okay? So it's a virtual workshop where he's probably going to sell something for $1,000, for $2,000, potentially up to $50,000, okay? Why is he advertising? Because every time he spends $1, he makes $10, okay? So that's, see ads all over the place. He's advertising heavily. We can see the detail of this, see what this looks like. This is an ad right here, okay? Why not work the best and build your business empire with Grant and his team? And join us. Interactive. So he's a sign up for an event. I'm not sure if it's physical, but that's another good example, right? So let's go back real quickly. Okay, so this is an ad in the actual news feed. That's what it looks like. So what you want to do to set up your Facebook is you want to change www at the top. You want to change it to business. Okay, business.facebook.com. Okay, and then it will take you to a business homepage. Okay, if you don't already have an account, it will take you to a place to get set up. You can see I already have an account with different activities up here, right? So if you don't already, like I said, we have multiple different ad accounts for different purposes, different aspects of our businesses, right? So in the last 7 days, like I told you, we have a bunch of this stuff off. But if I go back here and I type in and send this to, let's change this to custom, and then we'll put it over back to a few years back. Let's go back a few years just to see what we've spent in this particular account. Send that to May 1st, 2020. And then we'll go back and put that up to present. Okay, let's put that up here. Update, right? So you can see that we spent some money here on this account. We spent $1,300, $2,373 here, $3,073 here. Spent $23,000 here, right? This particular $23,000 actually, this particular one brought in a minimum of $49,000, something like that. This particular account, okay? So you can see if it's going to double, this is real business, okay? So that's one. That's. I want you to go through. Just go type in business.facebook.com. Okay, let me put that here for you. All right, business.facebook.com. Okay, so and that's for Facebook. Okay, now this is for Facebook and Instagram. You're able to set up Facebook and Instagram ads on those platforms. Okay, you go to that site over there. Now, what about Google and YouTube? I'm going to focus here on teaching you these 4 platforms over time. Okay, and the knowledge you get from this is translatable to any other PPC platforms out there. Plus, they're not as big of an audience that you have access to outside of these 4 platforms. Okay, I'm just being honest with you. Let's keep it simple, but you can translate the knowledge to any of the platforms. Okay, so Google and YouTube. Let me show you what that looks like. So if I go here and I type in Google Ads, right? Google Ads. So Google Ads is a platform that I don't play with too much, but you know, it's where I started from. So once in a while, I still play with it. If you want to advertise on YouTube and Google, you want to go to Google Ads, okay? And you need a Gmail account. If you don't have a Gmail account, don't play yourself. Go to gmail.com first and set up a free account and then take it from there. You just see this is gmail.com and click create an account. If you already have a Gmail, that's what you will need to sign in to your Google Ads. If you have a Google hosted email address, like for example we do, so I'm literally going to search support now at myempirepro.com. is Google hosted, even though it's on it's linked to our domain name. Okay, So I'm actually going to, let me see if I remember this. And I'm gonna try to log in right now. I'm logging into, oh, so it's asking me to confirm on my phone. Security, right? And yes, it's me. I just have to tap that on my phone and then it brings me in. Awesome, good. All right, so we're now on Google Ads platform. Okay, and there's a couple of things. This particular ad account here, we've only spent $26 on here ever. Okay, and there are a couple of things I wanted to show you just to show you around, because there has to be another training, right? There has to be another training. If you search around the internet, you might find a $500 credit or something like that. If you spend $500 with them, they will give you $500 additional credit, right? So just but I don't have access to that, just so you know. Okay, so don't ask me for that. Okay, so this is for Google. You want to go to ads.google.com. Now let me try something here. Let me go to ads.facebook.com. Let me see if that takes us to the ads platform. Okay, but remember what I told you. Start from business. Make sure your business is set up properly. Oh, so it takes me to another site called /business with my account already logged in. But if I were you, I'll just go through business.facebook.com. Okay, and keep it simple, and then follow their step by step. I'm not going to show you details because by the time you're watching this video, the details can change interfaces from time to time. So let's not do that. You need to have basic knowledge, understanding of how copy and paste keyboard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the keyboard works, and just follow the instructions on what they ask you to do. Just go to these platforms, business.facebook.com, ads.google.com, and set up. Make sure you're set up, and make sure you save your login information in a place where you can easily access it over time. Okay. All right, so that's how to set. Now let's talk about the anatomy. Okay, the anatomy of PPC, right? There are 3 layers on any platform. There are 3 layers on any platform. There is the why. Okay, why? Why are you setting up this campaign? What are you looking to achieve? So you could say objective. You could say purpose. What is the direct purpose of this ad? We're not talking about, if you say, I just want to make money. Well, that's too broad. I'm just trying to build my business. That's too broad. Precisely what action do you want them to take when they click this ad? Do you want them to just click? You can set that up as an objective. Do you want them to, after they click, they actually enter their email address into a page like this, right? You can make the goal leads, right? You can set the goal as leads, right? And that will be the goal of that campaign. Okay, so what is the goal of that particular campaign? You need to identify what that is. Okay, the second step, the second level. Okay, let's label this properly. Okay, you're going to see this on any platform you go to or something similar. All right, the second level of our campaign anatomy, a PPC campaign anatomy. Okay, is who's the person that this belong to? Who do you want to target? You can say everyone, but that's a bad idea, because there's a good chance you're going to waste money. Okay, you're just going to waste money. Okay, because if you say everyone, you don't know if they have interest or not. That means you're just saying everybody. That's not good enough. Okay, that is not good enough. You need to do better than that. You need to identify who is your offer for. Who is the avatar, right? Some people call it avatar, right? Right? Who is your ideal prospect? Customer, right? A couple of questions right now. Who are they following? Okay, already. let's put already, right? What age group are these people? What is the age group? What is the gender? The gender could be male, female, or both, right? There's some products that just only female are supposed to be interested in it, right? Can somebody want to buy for their wife? Yes, but we're talking about you spending money. You're spending money every time somebody clicks. You want you want to get in the lane of least resistance, right? And if somebody really wants it for their wife, they will find their way to your platform without you having to pay money to find them. Okay, what is their gender? Right? It could be both female or no, any of that stuff, but you want to know. Plus, not only that, when you set up the ad for everyone, your ad platform will, if it's a Facebook or Google ad platform, they'll tell you, they'll show you data showing you what type of people are actually attracting, and then you can pivot accordingly, right? So you can actually do a broad match to some point, but you can also, narrow it down, right? But originally, if I go back to the top here, right? If I go back to the top, PPC was for search, okay? What are they searching for? Right? What are they searching rather, right? What kind of words are they searching? For example, somebody that will search iPhone 13, if you want to target them, you might end up paying $25 per click, right? Those are the information that we need when it comes to this second level. You will be setting this up on the second level. Okay. So on the third level is basically the message itself, your ad copy, your image, what people actually see. Like for example, on the ad library, I can show you what people, this is what people are actually seeing. This is the copy. This is the text copy that people see. This is the video. Right? It's a selfie video. He's not overthinking it. He's just getting the words out there. He pays a certain amount of money to get this video to the people with the ad copy next to it. Okay? As it's continuing to get people, when people click on here, it's also getting followers. It's also getting more popular. It's getting more authority. All right? That's Facebook ads for you right there. Okay? So ad copy, ad image, and we can call both of them ad creative. Okay, there's a certain way that you want to craft the copy, right? You definitely want it to spell out pain. You want to spell out pleasure, relief, right? Relief. A question that your ideal customer will be asking for. Answer. We're going to cover this in details later, okay? When we get to copywriting mastery. Okay, but that's the ad copy. The ad copy of Grant Cardone right here. Okay, what is the let me see. Okay, let's look at this one. This T-Mobile ad here. It says ready for the hottest shows in Vegas. Right? So they're not gonna, you and I went and searched for this ad because I'm showing you an example. But the people they target are probably people that are in Vegas presently, or people that were searching for tickets to go to Vegas, right? They will make sure they're targeting the right audience. That's the beauty of PPC. You can target who you want to target. You can basically spell this out and be almost perfect with who these people are. Okay. So the message. So the third level is the what. What are you selling? What you're selling doesn't have to, we're not talking about your product right now. Okay, there's multiple levels to what you're selling. What do you want them to do, right? What do you want them to do? What we want them to do could be as simple as we want them to click. Let me see, where's the Facebook ad library? Let's go back here. All right, so let's type in let's see an example here. Let's do Russell Brunson. Okay. Russell Brunson. Or it calls this the legacy page. Let's see if he has any ads on. Okay. Let's go to his company name. ClickFunnels. All right. So let's go here. ClickFunnels. Right. You can see some of the ads they have here. If we click on see ad details, what does it say? Get instant access to the perfect webinar script. Okay, so this is assuming that people already know what the perfect webinar script is. So there's a certain type of audience that would know this already. Training, so this is something that people want. Want meaning pleasure, meaning relief. They know it's going to solve their problem for just $7, even more relief. Maybe they've seen other places where people are trying to sell this at $997. It's giving it just for $7. Okay, so he's also using this $7 price to filter out certain types of people that don't want to spend money. They will basically scroll through this, and that's perfectly fine for him. All right, so as a matter of fact, I'm reading this with you right now. I am learning from it. Right, he's literally saying, hey, you don't got $7, don't even bother about clicking on this. Maybe the ad is pay-per-click, but he's saying, you know, it's actually the target is clicks, right? So anyway, that's enough for that. Let's go to the ad into my ads, right? And I'll show you what this looks like in the Facebook ads, right? Let's see. So we have this. In real life, what I just shown you, the anatomy in real life. This level, the first level will be the campaign level. Okay. On Facebook, they call it on Facebook and Google, it's called the campaign level. On the campaign level, that's where you define what the objective of the particular campaign is, right? And how you plan to measure it sometimes, right? How you plan to spend money on it. What's the ad budget look like? Sometimes you set that on this level, okay? On the second level is what we call on Facebook, we'll call it, on Google, we'll call it ad groups, okay? And then we also on Facebook will call it the ad set. Okay, it's basically where you define who you're trying to target. Okay, but also it has groups of ads in them. Okay, you can say, hey, I want 3 ads that I'm testing that will be targeting these people, right? I want 2 ads or 3 ads that I'm targeting on this ad group that's targeting this set of people, but you define who you're targeting. So I'm going to show you an example of that in a second here. Okay. And on this level, you have the actual ad creative, like I said earlier, right? This is where you say this is the ad. Okay, each individual ad stand on their own as an ad, and that's the third level. So each campaign can have multiple ad groups or ad sets, as we call them in Facebook, and each ad groups can have multiple ads. Okay, so we could call this ads or ad creatives. Okay, because it depends on what platform you're on. This is how it's structured on the platforms that really matter, which is Facebook ads and Google ads. Okay, that makes sense. So let me show you what that looks like here. Okay, again, in the challenge execution session, we will be covering very fast 11 days execution, and then also in the inner circle we'll get into more in-depth training as time goes on. This is just the DMI 15 where you learn the fundamental. This is where you become a master at this, right? So let's say, for example, let me look at the ad in this account that we spent the most money on. And let's see, custom ad, custom days. Can we set this at okay, this is set at maximum already. Okay, perfect. All right, and I'm going to sort from highest to lowest. Okay, let me go under campaign level. So you can see here, this tabs is grouped into campaign, ad sets, and ads. Okay, each campaign has a certain number of ad sets in them. Each ad set has a certain number of ad groups in them. If I flip this over to the Google ad platform, I think I logged in earlier, you can also see that they have campaigns. As soon as I log in, they have campaign level, they have ad groups, and they have ads. Okay. Now, in terms of the audiences, you can see that there's also a grouping here. You can also advertise to videos from Google Ads. In fact, that's the only way I think that's the only way to advertise to YouTube. All right. So it's the same Google Ads platform that you use to advertise to YouTube. Okay. So if I click campaign right here, you can see that there's a campaign here. And if I click into that campaign, it drops it down to show me that there are 3 different ad groups in there, right? And if I click the ad groups, right, you can see that there's one video ad in this, right? All right, so that's that, right? And it shows you the number of performance and all that kind of stuff. That's stuff that we will continue to master as we get through this. Okay. All right. So here on Facebook, we're on Facebook right now. It's called Meta now. Meta. Okay. So if I sort this based off of spent, how much spent, let me see which ad we spent the most money on. If you spent the most money on, it probably makes the most money. So let's go sort highest to, okay. So we got this ad that we spent $2,502 on. Okay, and let's go into the ad. I'm just simply going to click into it. If I click on it, you will see that the tab will switch over to here, right? So if I click on it, you can see that we've had numerous ad sets that were targeted and tested inside of this ad, right? And inside of this, but let me go back for a second. If I go back to here, this particular ad, if I want to see what the settings are. Remember, on this level is where we set the objective. If you remember this, right? That's where we set the objective and what this ad campaign is supposed to do, right? So if I go here and I click edit, we set the name. Of course, we'll give it a name. It's a housing related campaign because it was about our real estate course. And then I guess they started setting countries on this level. What country exactly? It says select where you want to run this campaign. So you can also select multiple countries here, right? Campaign details, the buying type. Is it you want auction or you want some other options, right? But the campaign objective is to generate conversions. We wanted to generate sales at $11. Okay. All right, and then if you're doing split testing, you can also determine some few overhead predeterminations about the campaign, which you will learn more over later, right? All right, good. So under that, if I go and collapse this back to here, so we click this. Let me use this as an example. Let me see the particular ad set that spent the most money again. Sort highest to lowest. So it's this one, right? The financial markets. Okay, so we spent the most money on financial markets, and if I click on edit, it will show us the settings. So over here we kind of tell it how it's going to measure the conversions, how we're going to determine when people actually take the action we want them to take. So we do set that on this level according to Facebook, but more importantly, on any platform you set the budget also on this level. You also set that, but more importantly is you set the audience on this level. Okay, so what is the audience we're targeting here? We're targeting, we're definitely excluding people that have seen our pages before. Okay, we're excluding people that have engaged our properties before, but we're targeting a group of people in an interest called the financial market. Okay, so anybody that Facebook has collected data over time and decided that, oh yeah, this person is interested in the financial market, they're basically in this group. Okay, so that group, but also the gender, the age group, what location, that's the part. Where are they located? Where are they located? Okay, when I say pixel here is engaged before, you can also decide engaged before or not. You can also determine if they've engaged with your platform before or not. We call that the pixel. You will learn more about that when we get into the inner circle. Okay, you will learn more about that as time goes on. Okay, you'll learn about pixels and conversion tracking and all that kind of stuff that I mentioned at the top over here as well, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so that's that, but primarily, it used to be about you target people based off of what they were searching. Okay. But we also can target interest. Now we can target interest. All right, and we can target different parts of the demographic on a broader level, right? It just depends on what you're selling. Okay, so as time goes on, you will start to see all these different options, but this is them right here, right? You can also determine what part of Facebook you want this ad to show in. That's also part of determining which audience. The bottom line is that on the second level, you're determining the audience. Okay, do you want this to show on the reels of Instagram? You want it to show on the post of Instagram? Or you want it to, it depends, right? But you will see a preview. Now, if I collapse these details again and I click into this ad, we can see that there's an ad here. And this ad actually has multiple images. If I click edit, this is what the ad looks like. It says $11 on it. That means if you don't want to pay $11, don't even touch my campaign, right? So it was a beautiful campaign that we ran once upon a time. Okay. Let me see. Where is this? You need access to advertise. Okay. So this is an old campaign. Okay. This is where you set, when people click on learn more, where do you want them to go? This is where you set that up. Okay. The ad copy with some testimonials in the ad copy, right? This is where you set all of that up. Okay. All right. So there you have it. And this is basically where we set up what the ad looks like. Okay. We can do an advanced preview here. You can see what the ads look like and how we're split testing different images against each other. This is what it looks like. 11 days challenge to flipping houses nationwide. This was an ad that worked. Okay. It worked. Is the only thing we're selling $11? No, there are back-end stuff. When they sign up for $11, they are presented with a membership. They are presented with other higher end products to help serve them even better. Okay, but we bring them in as a customer up front. Does this work 100% of the time? Not necessarily. It depends. It all depends on so many things. That's why at the end of the day, when it comes to PPC, it's all about testing. I'm going to leave you with that. It's all about testing, and testing until. So you don't want to just throw a bunch of money at a campaign and say, hey, I'm done. Right? You're testing, you're measuring, and you're tracking. Then you are adjusting and pivoting as time goes on. Okay? But it's a lot of fun looking at the numbers. But this is the understanding at the fundamental level before we get into execution that I wanted you to go through. All right, so what are your homework today? Okay, I definitely want you to Google. You can search for Google Facebook Ad Library. I want you to search 10 gurus and influencers around what is it that you're trying to sell online. Is it a make money from home product? Is it a lose weight product? Is it you have Christian messages or something like that you're trying to put out there? You have a ideology you're trying to sell to people. You have a group of people you're trying to save. Do you have a charity organization that you're trying to build something around, right? Come up with 10 gurus and influencers in your world, right? And then search their name inside of Facebook Ad Library and see what they're up to. Okay. Facebook Ad Library, I showed you earlier, this part right here. Okay, let me just go ahead and log out of this, sign out. Yeah, Facebook Ad Library right here, right? Just search for it on, when you search Facebook Ads Library. So we're going to be using Facebook a lot to bring people into your world, into your tribe. It's the first thing that shows up. It says Ad Library Facebook, okay? And then you'll be able to search and see what people are up to in your world. So 10 gurus and influencers, write them out first. Then 10 tools and systems that you know people in your niche that they use. Tools and systems, right? Whatever it is that is useful as a tool for them, or some kind of platform or brand that they plug into. So I say here, 10 different brand names in your industry. Your potential customer is already following these people, and they're probably going to be the easiest customers, right? Last but not least, 10 search phrases. Buying, 10 buying search phrases, okay? Not every search phrases is being searched by somebody who's ready to buy. Somebody's searching for the meaning of the meaning of beads meaning or something like that, something stupid, right? They're not looking to buy, they're just researching. You don't want to be targeting these people with PPC. You can target them with search engine optimization because they might just be interested over time, and it costs you no money to rank for those type of activity, right? But it's very important to pay attention to that. Okay, so take note, rewind this video as much as you need to, review the information. That's your homework for this week. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.